Today on the show, we head to New York City and get to tour the famous Madison Square Gardens. Stay tuned. So many years ago, I was in New York City and had the opportunity to kind of have an all access behind the scenes tour of Madison Square Garden. And I did take some pictures while I was there, and I thought I'd share them on the channel today. This was summertime in New York City, and it was busy and bustling and everybody everywhere. And we ended up getting off the train here at Madison Square Gardens, and kind of just the street is very busy and there's lots of things going on. The building itself is actually 6 floors of sort of offices and things like that, with the arena in the background. You can kind of see it back there. And it's all attached and joined together, but there's lots of things going on there. And when we got there, we were given these passes to tour and sort of have full run of the place, which was neat. And you arrive, you go upstairs, and we immediately ended up at a security checkpoint, and the security guard asked us what we were doing there, and we just sort of showed him these passes that we had, and he said, "Oh, okay, I guess you're okay to come in." And we walked through and arrived at a weigh-in for a boxing match. This is something I've never been to or even thought I'd go to, but this was a boxing match that was going to be held at the Garden, and it was the sleaziest group of people I've ever seen in my life. It just looked very rough, and we were very out of place there with our passes just to be moving around, but we stayed for the weigh-in, and we saw both the fighters in front of the cameras and things like that doing their thing and taunting each other, and the whole thing. It was pretty wild just to kind of experience that when we didn't realize we ever would. It was kind of something that we didn't think we'd be witnessing. So it was pretty neat just to go and check that out, and to see the whole spectacle that is professional boxing like this. So that was pretty cool. On the floor in that front lobby, there is some plaques of different concerts and things, and people who've played there many times. And so Bruce Springsteen, of course, somewhat of a hometown name. And as well as here's a picture I took of the concert for Bangladesh that happened with George Harrison. And Bob Dylan played that, and some other people were involved with that show. And so just to see some of the famous concerts, they've made these little placards on the floor just to commemorate these shows that happened there. After we left the boxing weigh-in, we wandered through the stadium and saw there's a lot of restaurants and clubs like this that's inside bar restaurant type places, where I think if you had certain box seats or tickets, you could access these. Definitely would get you in the right frame of mind for a concert or an event. Very cool vibe inside these places. And in some of them, they had, memorabilia from some of the concerts that took place there, and posters and things like that. And you can kind of look out from these into the seats, and right away you're greeted with a couple of banners. One is Elton John with 60 performances that he's done there, and Billy Joel with 12 days of performances, the longest run of a single artist. So these were cool banners to see in the ceiling at the venue. And from watching stuff on TV and things, I've always marveled at the ceiling in the Madison Square Gardens, and the panels that are acoustically set up. And I just snapped a picture of that because I thought it was pretty cool to see that in person. The arena itself was set up for the New York Liberty, which is the WNBA franchise in New York. And so set up for basketball, and I think it's the exact same setup for the Knicks. But cool to be able to wander through without anybody in there and just have a kind of a run of the place, to step out onto the court, things like that, and to just have an experience like that, being the only person in the stadium. That's kind of a cool opportunity that was pretty exciting, and you could just feel the atmosphere, even though it was totally empty. Just being down on the floor and walking through that, it really had a sense of what that must feel like when it's really rocking and full, and it was a cool experience. I certainly would love to have seen a Rangers setup or a Knicks setup as well, but this was cool nonetheless just to see that. And I think for a concert, the sound would be incredible because you'd talk to somebody, a foot and a half away from you, and it just sounded so unlike an arena. It was just deadened sound. It was great, and really enjoyed that. Just having that all access opportunity to walk around. After we left the court area or the ice or whatever you'd call it down at the sort of ground level, we walked through a corridor and ended up in the New York Rangers dressing room, which was really cool. It was off season, so the Rangers were out of there. They were almost using this as storage, it looked like. But nobody really said anything to us and didn't seem to care that we were in there. So we had a great look around in the dressing room, and it looked like some of the stuff for the basketball game was kind of getting stored in there. There was some game balls and things like that, and all the Gatorade stuff. And it was neat just to kind of walk around an NHL locker room and to see what things looked like and where stuff was set up for the Rangers. And you could kind of picture the team in there at that point. You could really feel how that would be transformed at game time into the Rangers locker room. And pretty cool opportunity just to have a look around. So that was totally by accident. We just wandered in and nobody really stopped us. So we just kept going and had a great look around in there just to see everything. So very fun opportunity just to have a run of the place. I have to say, the entire time we were in there, nobody really seemed to bother with us or ask why we were there or what we were doing. And we just kind of wandered through, which was pretty neat, and had a great look around at everything. I have no idea where the Knicks locker room is or how close I was to that. I didn't see it. Same with the Liberty. And I don't know. I get the impression that for concerts, musicians have their own sort of area as well, but I'm not sure. I didn't see anything to that effect. But it was cool. It was neat to be in there and fun to have a look around. So I hope you enjoyed this look at Madison Square Garden. It was a bit of a sneak peek and some pictures that I've just recently unearthed that I thought were interesting and something that you don't see every day. So I hope you guys like that, and we'll see you next time. Keep on rocking.